Now, before we get into the video, I want to go over the math used very quickly. See, in this video, I will often mention something known as material sell cost. It's basically what I'm referring to as the cost it would take to sell all the crucial materials to the shop instead of creating the item. This is calculated simply by counting up how many enchanted items are required, multiplying that number by 144, since 16 times 9 equals 144, and then finally multiplying that number by the cost of the item to sell in the shop. Now, of course, a lot of things can affect this number. See, masteries in mining, which is what a lot of this video is about, has a common reward of tripling the item's sell cost at around tier 7. Since all my calculations were done without boost, without rotating shop, and without masteries, the material sell cost will actually be significantly lower than it will be when you actually hit the tier to make these items. You will see why this is a massive oversight very soon. Also, just looking over this once, I noticed some of my math was iffy. The first time I ran it through, I was streaming on twitch.tv/novadrakers, #shameless plug, so I was distracted and doing some of the math in my head. If I do make a mistake with my math, I really do apologize, but a lot of the concepts should still be the same. Or you could use the concepts to reference your own math, it's up to you. Anyhow, thanks so much for listening to me and enjoy the video. Season 2 of the Neo Network Skyblock server has been a blast. I've never in my life had more fun streaming and interacting with the community ever. This is made even more fun when I consider how much time and effort the devs are putting into the server, and the newly expanded masteries are a perfect example of this. With the new expansion of masteries, Minion has taken up the mantle as the crafting mastery, allowing you to create insanely powerful and sometimes comically useless items that can skyrocket your skyblock progression. By design, these items require tons of specific resources to create, and therefore it's often beneficial not to sell the items and instead save for when you gain access to that items in your /masteries tab. But some of them are so bad that you'd actually gain more profit simply selling the item to the shop. Regardless, we'll go over every item, their uses, and talk about if the item is worth your time, or if the devs should decide to probably look at it for a revamp in the future. My name's NeoNetwork, and let's get right into the video. Going beginning to end in the Masteries Items tab, we'll start with the Super Furnace. The Super Furnace is incredibly strong, and one of the best newly added items in the /masteries tab overall. Beyond smelting items per second, saving time and fuel, it also occasionally increases the yield you get per ore. Gone are the days of selling raw ores because they're worth negligible amounts less than their cooked counterparts. The craft is unlocked at tier 5 stone mastery, but if bought off AH, can be placed and used without the tier requirement. At the cost of 8 enchanted cobblestone, pretty much buy a full super furnace for $230,000 by simply buying the cobblestone from /shop. For that reason, if you see anyone selling it for anything over maybe $250,000, you're literally being robbed. Albeit a great item for its cost, and definitely a good investment if you plan to mine at early stages, which you should. The rune storage is next on our list, and is a super important item that is required to progress in the server. They have 3 tiers, which impact how many runes you can store outside of the standard 3. The 3 are Basic, Advanced, and Super, each increase in storage as well as having a small buff to mastery gain per rune stored. With an increment cost of 64, 128, and then 256, making the entire thing requires a total of 448 enchanted copper, which is the equivalent of 2.42 double chests of copper blocks. So maybe not rush to sell your copper in preparation for this craft. The personal Mcmo boosters are a cool new addition that can be found in the Quartz Mastery, allowing you to craft 5-minute boosters for Mcmo. There are 3 tiers, 1.5, 2x, 3x, requiring 64, 96, and 128 enchanted quartz respectively. In regards of direct worth, by the time you get that far to make this item, you will likely already have Mcmo experience to hit breakpoints like level 50 woodcutting and level 1000 herbalism. Better off, the material sell cost for the max tier comes to about 500,000. If you have the money to spend and a point to prove about being MC top anything, then this could easily be a pickup. Otherwise, you're better off buying the 1.25 boosters for 10 minutes from the black market merchants or just using Luck Spinner. XP bottles are bottles of experience that can be thrown to claim the amount of experience shown immediately. There are 3 tiers given 50,000, 150,000, and 500,000 respectively. Given the material cost value of 96 stacks of enchanted lapis is around 200,000, you actually lose money at all tiers. Though it is important to recognize the massive jump from 150,000 to 500,000. At a 1-to-1 ratio of money to XP, which is the current market, you actually lose money making this purchase. Though the issue with XP isn't supply, it's demand. Most books are bought with sky coins at the black market merchant, meaning XP is usually only used for rerolling enchant percentages and protection scrolls. Additively, most enchant books are bright scroll to 100% anyway, which costs sky coins, basically nullifying the use of protection scrolls. Sky coins have effectively culled the need for experience entirely, tanking the resource's value by a significant margin. Personally, I think sky coins should be removed from the enchanting process entirely, leaving it entirely to experience, but that's a story for another day. Sorry to go off topic there. The Super Drill. It is an incredibly powerful item that is unlocked at Redstone Tier 7. This item, when used, produces 250 to 500 random ores immediately, as well as 3 random Tier 1 to Tier 5 spawners. Now, this is beyond amazing. The ores gained are irrelevant, and to be honest, shouldn't even be considered in any possible equation, as their impact is far too negligible. What matters is the spawners. Now, on average, a random spawner from Tier 1 to Tier 5 is worth around 1.4 million. Super drills have a material cell cost of about 215,000, and you get 3 spawners. That is so good it's not even funny. Now, of course, this is assuming the chance of each is even, instead of having an inflated chance of Tier 1 spawners. If that's the case, it would be a numbers game, and their worth could be anywhere between absolutely insane to positively useless. This is very interesting to me, and my curiosity will lead me to find out very soon. Regardless, even with lower odds for higher tier spawners, the effective worth for this item is far too good to overlook. Next is hoppers, an interesting new possibility in the Iron Mastery section that now allows you to craft these crucial items. Prop hoppers at tier 5, mob hoppers at tier 6, and ore hoppers at tier 7 can all be created using a similar recipe containing 28 enchanted iron. These hoppers are fairly easy to create, have a material cell cost of only 56,000, basically making these once rare items incredibly obtainable. Just a quick thing I'd like to slip in there, but I really do like this change. Hoppers by design shouldn't be rare. Mob hoppers are near useless due to overflow and autosell, and you generally only use one crop hopper for one thing, which is cactus, once again due to overflow and autosell. Ore hoppers are the only useful one, given you sometimes need 2 per chunk to account for the diversity of blocks, and autosell and overflow doesn't work on blocks. Are you seeing a common theme? Overflow and autosell have effectively nullified the use for hoppers entirely. I think that's a problem that really needs to be fixed. Simply said, simply grinding should not have the ability to put things in your overflow, and I think the server would see a lot more unique and creative build designs if this were removed. Also, autosell should be a toggleable feature on all the mastery tools, not just the farmer's harvester. But these are 2 topics for another video. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. Minion boosters. They are interesting additions. Besides for mining, due to the sheer amount of randomness in ore generation, minerals have shown to not be the most useful aspects of the game. Being able to boost the efficiency of certain minions to hit tiers faster is a neat addition, but given that it only lasts for an hour and has such a low proc chance, they are pretty awful. Even a max minion only produces 1 mastery every 25 seconds. This means that through its lifespan, you'll only get 144 chances for the double mastery to activate. Logically speaking, would you ever spend the material cell cost of $260,000 for 1 to 2 points in any mastery? This one's a hard skip, unless it gets a significant reduction in cost. Mineral boosters are a new type of booster, as far as I know. I never mined in Season 1. I've yet to unlock it, and it requires Emerald Tier 7. As far as I can assume, it increases the number of minerals dropped when mining by the said 20%. Alas, it costs 64 enchanted emerald to create one that lasts for 5 minutes. Given these emeralds' material cost value of 1.6 million, unless you're somehow producing 8 million casually in 5 minutes in mineral revenue, this item is not at all worth its cost at any stage. If it actually does something else, let it be known in the comments, but I have no way of knowing and don't intend to find out this specific item for a very long time. The new rate accessory is a new item unlocked at Diamond Tier 7 that increases the rate at which mobs are killed by servants. The specific rate increase is unknown, but I believe it's worth regardless of its rate. Given a high tier slain servant can often create millions per hour, even the smallest upgrade would be worth, given the cost of only 1.2 million per craft for a permanent upgrade. Definitely a great item to invest in, and I'll make the rates known as soon as I find them out myself, and trust me, I plan to find out for myself. The Spawner Generator Efficiency Booster is a cool new item that can be used on a spawner generator to boost its production speed for 3 hours. A pretty cool item in concept that gets significantly weaker when the spawner generator itself is considered. Given the incredibly low rates of 0.5 spawners per hour at tier 1, actually lowering to 0.25 at tier 2, it doesn't really do much. But this trend gives us something to work off. Assuming we get the spawner generator to tier 9, and assuming it goes no lower than 0.25 per hour, we end up making 6.75 million over a 3-hour duration. Now, be sure to notice we are assuming the absolute highest values and the absolute max production based off the past trend of lowering rates. The item itself has a material sell cost of 1.2 million, so in order to break even and get the worth from your money, the item would have to give at least a 17% increase in generation speed. If you have a tier 7 spawner generator, assuming it even goes that high, and would like to roll the odds of if the boost is at least 17%, feel free. I'll see you right back here in 2 months crying that you wasted your sky coins and a lot of money. The XP farm. Now this is an interesting new item that is unlocked at Lapis tier 10. It passively produces experience over time, allowing you to gain experience while not actively working for it. The big issue with this is the rate. The experience farm produces at a rate of 5 experience per minute. Through an average of 8 hours of sleep, this would produce 2400 XP. Now at this point in the script, I had went over a lot of math, calculating the worth of the XP after conversion, how much XP was given, etc, etc. The math came out to about 1.2 million XP over 6 months, meaning you'd make your money back after about 108 days and get nothing but profit afterwards, assuming XP sells for a 1-to-1 ratio. If you haven't yet noticed, this is me from the future, after remembering about masteries. Given this unlocks at tier 10 and you unlock triple sell price at tier 9, I noticed that immediately after unlocking this item, it would have to be running for over 300 days non-stop in order for you to make your money back, where you could have just sold the lapis. A season lasts for an average 6 months. These have to run for a year. Why would you make this? The Wood Crusher. This item is genuinely even more annoying than the last one, and is the worst thing I've ever had the pleasure of using ever. I had so much high hopes for this amazing concept, but the numbers are just so awful it's not even funny. Costing 128 enchanted oak logs with sell for 80,000, the Wood Crusher allows you to place in up to 7 stacks of wood and turn each of them into random ores, which all have the higher cost of the wood itself. The issue lies in the fact that the Wood Crusher generates at a rate of a single ore every 30 seconds. You need 30 of them to merely match the speed you would mine if you were not even using Super Breaker, Fortune, or any other enchants whatsoever on your pickaxe. But then you notice it says you can only place 5 per island, and now any hopes and dreams you might have had gets immediately slaughtered. With the added benefit of no clear way to upgrade the speed, the Wood Crusher seems like a genuine waste of time and resources. The Wood Crusher upgrade is just as terrible. It's a consumable item received at tier 8 jungle. When used, it allows your Wood Crusher to produce double ores and a spawner at a 1 in 5,000 chance. The issue lies in the fact that the aforementioned Wood Crusher functions once every 30 seconds. You seen a common issue here? What this means though, is at a 1 in 5,000 chance, it would take on average of 1.7 days of consistent non-stop upgrade action to get a single spawner. We don't even know the main or max tiers of the spawners, but assuming it can be any tier, you better pray to God Cario that you don't get a pig spawner. The funny thing is, this is assuming it's infinite, which it's not. Another big issue here lies in the fact that it lasts for only 15 minutes. With only 1 ore every 30 seconds, this means a single upgrade would produce only 30 chances for a spawner. This means it's less than a 1% chance for each individual upgrade to even produce a spawner in the first place, requiring an average of 167 attempts. Given each upgrade costs wood worth 80,000, you would have to spend a little over $13 million worth of jungle logs in order to get a single spawner. This seems like a massive oversight, and I can't even dare waste my time grinding to test it out. For now, don't even look at this item, it's as dreadful as its machine. The Super Seed Bag. Now it's funny you end on this, because this item has a mere material sell cost of 69,000. This new item in the Wheat Masteries page allows you to store seeds inside, which can then be placed in a 3x3 whenever used. It's a cute little thing that could be useful, but isn't. The issue with this item is, regardless of cost, the need to plant seeds is entirely removed at Herbalism 1000, so it's only useful for first planting of a farm or the conversion of a farm to another crop type. Another issue comes in the one and only pay to win aspect on the entire server: fast placement seeds. Now, listen. I credit the server for being very free to play friendly. in between the vast requirement to farm, the ability to help and be helped by others so openly, and the amazing and friendly community we have of players willing to grind the game, it's very easy to progress. But the ability to fast play seeds is genuinely one of my biggest pet peeves in the entire server and needs to be removed. Fast play should be a convenience, not a necessity, and when so much of the server's economy is focused around farming compared to the other methods, it's kinda disappointing to see those without fast plays generally watch in awe as I plant an entire 150 by 32 farm in mere seconds. At first, I was kind of indifferent, as I never really experienced a server without fast plays, as it was gifted to me quite early in Season 1. But as I see new players come in and want to help me, and I just start flying around at Mach speed planting crops without a care, it makes me quite sad. Regardless, this entirely butchers the need for the super seed bag, and is more of a slap in the face to anyone looking to farm without having fast plays. It's a cool item conceptually, but it would be better if fast plays was changed to not work on crops like it does with sugarcane and cactus. I think this is a required and healthy change that everyone should be okay with. Let me know in the comments if you disagree, you fast place abusers. And that's all the items in the item section of /masteries. It should be noted that this isn't even the beginning of all the changes in the mastery section. The entire system got an overhaul, and reading through them is incredibly fun and inspiring. This was a great update that has genuinely rekindled a ton of my joy. Though a lot of the numbers need to be tweaked, I really do enjoy a ton of the changes made, and understand that there's a ton of bugs that need to be fixed and many more coming up before they can even consider balancing. I appreciate all the time and effort the devs are putting into the server, and on behalf of the whole Neo Network server, thank you. This video took a lot of work and time to make. In fact, in the process of making this video, Dusk has hit tier 3 before I even got 30% of the way. And I was doing so well. Maybe if one of my 100 extreme enchants gave me a single slither of multi-kill, things would be different, but that's neither here or there. Regardless, I won't be the first solo to hit tier 7, and therefore I plan to shift my goals. Instead of being a supplier of spawners, I'll be a supplier of knowledge. I'm going to commit pretty much all my time to supplying as much info as possible to you guys on both the wiki, the YouTube, and my Twitch. Love you all and feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Or don't, I'm having a great time regardless. Anyhow, I'll see you guys in another video. Bye! Also, I'm really quick gonna out King Cairo. Emerald Mastery at tier 5 gives Island Bank interest. This is just passive income regardless of what you're doing. The second you get tier 1, make Emerald Minions. Get tier 5, put all your money in your bank, make infinite money. We got this, guys, let's go!